What's up, everyone? It's NFL Week 14, and this is your FanDuel NFL Week 14 first look, where we take a look at it's a first look at FanDuel. We're going to look at the salaries. We're going to go position by position. We're going to take a look at the matchups. And, of course, in the end, we will build our first look lineup. Now, it's early in the week. News still dropping. So you never know where we're going to wind up, but we're going to get a nice little start. We're going to talk about who's live, who's not, and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. And as you guys know, when I get started with these first look breakdowns, I always like to take a look at some of these matchups, see what stands out, what's popping, and we'll kind of just run through them really quick here. Jets at Miami, not much going on there. Not really a whole lot to like from a DFS perspective. In that game, 44.5-point total. Notice that all these games are kind of 46 points or below, except for one. It's just this one game here. Well, 49-pointer. Everything else is kind of on the low end. So we're going to have to use team totals, game totals, and everything to kind of figure out some of these matchups. Jaguars at the Titans. Man, could this be that one game ever where Levis, it's the first time the Titans maybe have been favored all year. Jaguars probably using Mac Jones in this game. So I don't know if that's that much worse at quarterback, but it's not an upgrade. Not much to say about that one. Panthers at the Eagles. I think the Panthers' offensive prowess kind of ends in this one, and the Eagles really have been playing great defense. So I don't like the Panthers' chances of making a game of this one at all. Eagles should style here. Saquon Barkley in the nut matchup of the year. Let's see what that does. Saints at the Giants. This one's really interesting. We don't know who's the quarterback for the Giants is going to be, but Saints defense has not been very good. So there's actually some interest for me on that side. On the flip side, Saints game, Kamara, his fatal flaw, and the reason we haven't played him, and the reason we've avoided him for weeks is because he doesn't score touchdowns. Primarily because Taysom Hill comes in and takes the tutties away. Not this time. Not this time. No more Taysom Hill means potential touchdowns for Kamara. He is absolutely in play. He's been priced better on FanDuel than DraftKings. So let's see if that continues here as we get to the salaries. Browns at Steelers, 43.5 points. The first game wasn't a very great offensive explosion. We did just see Steelers can be scored on and can score quickly. So that can happen. Defenses don't matter that much. All of that. JMO is lock button to throw a pick six in this game. But, how fun was it watching Jamo on Monday night just getting crazy out there, throwing bombs, 50-plus, target attempts. I love that guy. So he's going to be in the mix even in this horrible matchup. Always in the mix. Another interesting one. Raiders at the Bucs. Both sides of this game interesting. From the Bucs side, Raiders defense not that good. Bucs should be able to do whatever they want here, and Bucs have been a great source of fantasy goodness all season. Bucky on the Bucs. Bucky fucks on the Bucs. It's the best I came up with. On the flip side, the Raiders had a pretty good game last week, and most of their offense just runs through two names, right? It's just Brock Bowers and right now Jacoby and Myers, the law firm. So I think that some of those pieces from the Raiders are interesting in this game. Bucs defense has been one to exploit, maybe even, quote, Raiders running back, whoever the hell that is, right? Madison. I don't know. So that game could have some interest in it. A 46.5-point total. It is technically the second highest total on the slate. So interesting. Falcons at the Vikings. Falcons are a good team to attack with your offense as well in fantasy. And so this game, Vikings coming in with 25.5-point total. Vikings have not been a team that relies heavily on the running game for touchdowns so far this season. That could change at any time. But if they're going to get those 3 touchdowns, it's probably going to come off the arm of Samwise, the scared Darnold. So maybe Darnold's going to be an interesting play here. A little Darnold, Justin Jefferson stack hasn't really worked much this year, but, it's only week 15. There's still time. And then on the flip side, maybe some Drake London. I did notice that Darnell Mooney's really, really cheap on FanDuel. So that might be a thing. 44.5-point total for the Seattle-Arizona game. Arizona's at home for this one. Probably play a little better at home than they do on the road. I'm sure there's some pieces that can emerge from that one. Bears at the 49ers. Also, interesting game. 44-point total. 49ers lose. Christian McCaffrey and Mason. Now, here's what's funny. FanDuel preemptively uppriced Mason, figuring, hey, you never know when CM Sizzles gets hurt. But what they didn't do was anticipate that both of them were going to get hurt. So we get a free square in a Garendo for this one at like 5,400. He will be in every lineup or most of the lineups that I am creating on FanDuel this week. You got to take the $5,400 turd play on a starting running back for the 49ers. Don't care if it works. Gonna do it. All right. Next, we've got probably the game of the slate here, the Bills at the Rams. Both sides of this game have some potential. Listen, the Rams, I get it. Bills are a good defense, but, Puka and Cooper Kupp, pretty unstoppable as a wide receiver duo. Even Matthew Stafford is going to be viable in this one. On the Bills side, we haven't seen a breakout game from Amari Cooper yet. And I don't know, maybe it's the time, but Josh Allen is the man on that team. And he's always the man. And if you could afford Josh Allen, you should just play Josh Allen always, but definitely this week. And then finally, the Chargers at the Chiefs, Sunday night football, 43-point total, pretty gross. Chiefs games have been played close and ugly. I could see this one certainly producing some fantasy goodness, but at the same time, who knows? So with that being said, let's jump into FanDuel NFL Week 14. How quickly has this season gone? By the way, if you are in a redraft league, this is it. This is a buy apocalypse. You got to get through it. So, make your moves. And I'm wishing you all good luck to making it in the playoffs for your redraft leagues this year. That is always, really, it's my first love and something I truly enjoy. I've got about, 18 leagues right now that I'm navigating. Hopefully we're making the playoffs in at least half of them. All right. Onward. Let's talk about the quarterback position for NFL Week 14. And it starts with Jalen Hurts up top, most expensive. I get it. The matchup with Carolina, it's an easy matchup for them. Carolina probably not going to put up much resistance here. Will Hurts need to do a lot of the work? I don't know. Hurts could just get there by accident in a game like this. He really could. This is one of those spots we've seen them before where it's a non-competitive situation. You never know what's going to happen. So just keeping aware of it. Josh Allen, a little cheaper than Hurts at 8,900. Let's see. Yeah, Hurts has kind of outproduced him just by a smidge this year, so I get it. I really like Josh Allen in this matchup. I think the Rams can score. That'll cause Josh Allen to have to answer. And, 8,900, a little spendy. But what are you going to do? Tua at the Jets, probably not my favorite. Baker at 8K seems a little expensive for Baker Mayfield. Brock Purdy, tougher matchup against Chicago. Chicago's got good cornerbacks. It's not an easy passing game matchup for the 49ers at all, so I'm probably not going there. Patrick Mahomes, listen, his next, let's see, we've got 2 games over 20 fantasy points on the season for Mahomes. I don't mind that if he's 7K, but at 8K, we need at least a 24 to even just be in the game, and we really need to be at 30, but at least a 24, so that's a little too, I'm not into that one at all. Kyler Murray here, 7,800. Yeah, again, up and down production with Kyler. You get a lot of games sub 20 fantasy points, and then he'll pop off whenever he runs for a touchdown. That's pretty much how Kyler Murray works. I'm not a fan of the passing offense from the Cardinals. I just don't think it's good. They need new coaching. They probably won't get it, but they need it. Russell Wilson had a couple good games as well this season. Pretty much since he's been starting, he has been not completely terrible. 24-pointer, 30-pointer. Got a couple of decent games in there, 20-pointer. Nothing that I'm excited to kind of chase, but not into it really. This is the meat and the heart and soul of this week's slate, in my opinion. We get down to this sort of lower level price points, and you got Sam Darnold here, I think is very much playable against Atlanta at home. I mentioned it in the matchup breakdown, but Darnold really doesn't lose a lot of touchdowns to his running backs positions most of the time. So if they're putting touchdowns up, he's usually throwing for them, which is what we're looking for. He's also not a difficult stack between Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. and Addison. It's just those three names. So you don't really, if you're going to stack them with two, it's two of those three. It's really not a difficult one at all. I think Herbert is in the mix as well. Herbert went from like extreme chalk last week to a complete dud. And, no one's going to make that mistake again. Listen, if we see high ownership on Herbert, it's probably not good. Whenever you have these guys that miss more than they hit, like Herbert is, and then they become chalky, my instinct is usually going to be to fade that. So, do with that what you will. Gino, I'm not super excited about him. He's just in that mix of guys who can put up 20. You never know. Caleb, same deal. I kind of like Caleb a little bit here. What I love about Caleb, I used him in the first look on DraftKings. I'm not going to do it again on FanDuel, but I think he's perfectly playable here. And what I love about Caleb, especially on FanDuel, is just how inexpensive it is to stack him up. All of Cole Kmet, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, they're all low priced, and you pair them up with a low price Caleb, and that opens up things like paying up for a stud running back. I'm not sure how much we'll need these lower cost starting points with the Garendo cheat code available to us on the slate, but I don't mind pairing up a low cost QB double stack with a low cost running back, and then you stud up everywhere. So I really like Caleb. He would probably be my first look quarterback if I didn't use him already on DraftKings. Now, Matthew Stafford also playable. Listen, it's Buffalo. If the Rams are hanging around in this game and making a game of it, it's going to be because Stafford is having one of his special games. I don't like the Q tag. I don't like the recent production. But you see here, he's got these 25 pointers in his bag. Oh, tricks. So it can happen. He'll just disappoint a lot, so be aware of it. Derek Carr's a no. Cousins is a no. Bryce Young is a no. Jamo, 6,900, worth it. Playing some Jameis as well this week. I think in the sub 7K range, Jameis Winston is very viable. Yes, it's a bad matchup. Yes, Pittsburgh's good. I know all of these things. But Jameis is just out there slinging it. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. He'll get it done. So it's not a good matchup, tougher than what he's seen. But at 6,900, you don't need that much. And he's willing to throw it. I do think that Steelers defense is good, and they'll put pressure on him, and he'll have a tougher time than usual, and he's going to get sacked, and he's going to fumble it. He's going to throw a pick sixten. But even with all that, I think in tournaments, I'm going to be playing some of Jameis Winston there. And the other one that's live in tournaments is going to be Aiden O'Connell, AOC, right? This guy is taking on a Bucs defense that pretty much allows every opposing quarterback to smash when they face them. He's also super cheap. You stack him with Jacoby Myers, the law firm, and Brock Bowers. No worries. Or you don't need them both. And now Aiden O'Connell doesn't run for anything. He doesn't do any kind of like things that will get you scores with his legs. So it's very much playing a $6,700 guy and hoping for a 20 rather than, playing like an Anthony Richardson style player and hoping for a 30. I don't think the 30 is in the range here, but he's certainly got a 20-point outcome potential. Same thing with Mac Jones. Not much of a runner, none of that, but could probably get you a yeoman-like 20 fantasy points, which might be enough for a $6,700 quarterback. The only other one that I might keep an eye on here is Drew Lock. If Tommy D, aka Tommy Cutlets, is out for another game, I think Drew Lock could, be somebody that we mess around with in some large format tournaments. All right. Moving on to the running back position. Saquon Barkley priced up like crazy in the nut matchup. Love to play him. Tough to afford him. We'll see. Right? Similar with Kamara, priced all the way up to 9K. It's crazy town, but I get it. So, I mean, FanDuel clearly was aware of the same thing that we are, that once Tate got hurt, it was all over. Kamara goes beast mode with no Taysom. So be aware. Now, Bijan, I think these are not good plays. Bijan, Achane, he's fine, but I don't know, it's against the Jets. Pretty good defense. James Cook, that's a no here. So like, yeah, Bijan, tough matchup on the road, underdog. Achane, home favored running back, but against a pretty good Jets defense. He's just too close at 8,700 to Kamara or Barkley. And I think that of all of these guys, they're all a little too close to these studs over here. I'd just rather focus on these two than pay for these turds. But at running back, we do often have to find better values. So, yeah, I mean, Kenny Walker could be interesting against Arizona. Here at 7,700, Bucky, fine by me, right? Bucky putting in scoring touchdowns. This zone here is really interesting. James Conner at home. James Conner hasn't had a good game in a while. 9, 7, yeah, a couple 20s in there. That's about 7, 14, 21, 28. You're looking at it's about a 23, 24. Maybe you can get there. Tony Pollard at 7,500 is very much in play this week. This is the first time that the Titans have been favored in forever. And I think Pollard will do well on a favored team. So we'll keep him in mind as well. Chuba is a no. Najee is a no. No G. Not Najee. No G. No G. Not happening. Isaiah Pacheco. First came back from injury last week. 7 carries. Still don't trust you. But Tyrone Tracy. Now, if the Giants play a competent quarterback, maybe it's Drew Lock. Maybe that's him. You know what? This guy got a touchdown. Whatever. 13 fantasy points last time out. Could do better here. I don't mind it. Nick Chubb, probably not. I feel like he had a good game, but this is about as good as he can do. You know, I don't know that the upside is there for Nick Chubb. Even at 6,500 is okay. ETN, okay here. Let's see what Hunt did. Yeah, they gave him and Pacheco the exact same amount of carries. So, you know, there's that. From here, it's really nothing until we get to Mr. Cheat Code Garendo. So I'm going to plug in Garendo here, and I like to do that just to get our low-cost player in there. And I want to spend a little bit here. I'm gonna plug in Bucky for now at 7,700, but I really do want to try to get to Kamara, or you know what? Let me try. Let's see what happens if we try to make one with Barkley and Bucky. Bucky, and Garendo. Maybe this combo of having Garendo and Bucky and Barkley kind of levels out to one normal price player. Not really, but get the idea. Going to be tough to afford a 10K player on the first look, but we'll give it a shot. All right, let's jump over to the defense position. And as always, I like to start at the very bottom and try to figure out who are the cheapest viable defenses on this slate. I already see one standing out to me. So there we go. I mean, right off the bat, Jacksonville Jaguars up against the Titans. This is Will Levis. He is a turnover guy. So yes, is the Jaguars defense good? Not really. Are they on the road? Yes. Is that a good thing? No. But for 3,500, I think it's a YOLO spot. Cardinals playable. Browns maybe, but not really. Chiefs probably not. Chargers no. Titans maybe, right? Against Jacksonville, same issue. Kind of backup quarterback, not a terrible one. Saints at the Giants with whoever the hell the Giants are rolling out. That's going to be a good defense play as well. Dolphins at the Jets, maybe. San Francisco, maybe. Vikings, maybe. But Eagles, yes. Tampa, yes. Pittsburgh, definitely, yes. These guys are locked in to scoring defensive touchdowns in this game. But again, that's 5K. Let's stick with the $3,500 Panthers at, you know, my favorite player to target with defense is Will Levis. Let's see if that works, you know, when the Jaguars are kind of in disarray. All right, jumping over to the tight end position. Very top, 8K for Brock Bowers. Yikes, right? He's priced up, but worth it, but priced up like crazy. 14, 10, 16, 8, 5, 14, 10, 12. Look at all these double-digit target games for Brock Bowers. Even at 8K, when you're a tight end, you're getting that many targets, it's crazy. George Kittle, this is a George Kittle game. If the 49ers are moving the football, it's probably going to be throwing it to Kittle. I'm saying it now. You heard it on the first look. This is a George Kittle week. Trey McBride's been great week after week after week as well. 12 targets, 15 targets, 5, 4, 11. Love those double-digit targets. Jonu also getting crazy targets, 11, 11, and 8 over the past 3 weeks. 3 monster scores in a row, 7K player at this point. Look how the mighty hath fallen. Travis Kelce now the 5th highest tight end price in the slate. I can't complain. Last week, 13 targets, 7 receptions. Didn't do that much with them, but the volume was there. I think this is another good spot for Kelce, so I don't mind that. If we're trying to pair somebody up with our quarterback, it's probably going to be Hawkinson. He's a little overpriced for what he's been so far this year, but it's more important of what he can be, unburdened by what has been. Too soon? No. All right, fine. But he does pair up nicely with our quarterback, Sam Darnold. So I don't mind a little TJ Hawk, a little Hawk action, little Hawk action there. David Njoku, fine. That's more of a pairing with JMO than anything else. Goddard's fine here as long as Devontae Smith remains out. I think he's playable. Evan Ingram's kind of playable. Cade Otton is a nice price at 5,600. Fine, also playable there. And then Cole Kmet, and only in lineups with Caleb Williams. Let's see if there's anybody else here of note. Not really. So with that being said, let's plug in Hawkinson just to pair him up with Sam Darnold here. We got 6,500 left. We're not going to be able to play. We probably can't even play Justin Jefferson. So I think it's crazy to play Darnold without JJ. But as you can see, you simply cannot use Barkley and Justin Jefferson in the same lineup and make it work. It just doesn't work. So I'm going to leave him out on this one. And we'll leave Hawkinson as our primary correlation piece. And then we'll just pick other wide receivers who are good. So we've got 6,500 left. Let's see. Puka, I'll just go through these. But, Puka, sure. Cooper Kupp, great. Evans, even better. Right? Malik Neighbors, maybe. These guys are all fine. Look how expensive Jackson Smith and Jigba and Drake London are. Again, this is a real difference between FanDuel and DraftKings. Some of these names are much cheaper on DraftKings, relatively speaking. It's kind of interesting. Scroll down. I can't play Debo at this point. Lad McConkey's been great. Love Lad. Even in the matchup against the Chiefs, outdoor, I don't care. I love Lad. I don't like this Q tag, so we'll have to see about that. Brian Thomas Jr., backup quarterback. Marvin Harrison, again, man, this guy just doesn't get it done. 12 targets, only 5 receptions. What's up with that? But I did like the volume, but man, love to see a little bit more out of him. Juwan Jennings, tough matchup. Chicago secondary is very, very good. Flip side, Keenan Allen is just getting peppered with targets week after week. I think he's very viable here. We're going to plug him in. I don't want to use too many pieces from the Chicago team. I don't mind DJ Moore in that spot either. Moore or Keenan Allen. Either one is fine. We'll go with Moore. He's the starter or whatever. So go with Moore. But I just like generally one of those guys. If we wanted to do some further correlation, we'd do Addison and Hawkinson like that. Let's see how much salary we have left. 6,500. Continuing on. So Xavier Worthy, meh. Darnell Mooney, though, priced really well. I'm interested. He hasn't had a big week in a while, but I mean, he had a string of sort of 8, 9, 10 target games. This is, I'd call it a respectable price point for him. So Mooney, definitely someone I want to keep in mind. I don't like this. Waddle, just not really exciting. Thielen, not so exciting. Alex Tandy. You know what we're going to go with here? Amari Cooper to finally get it done. There's other names, by the way. Elijah Moore down here. Great price, 5,600. But I'm plugging in Amari Cooper at 5,700. This is a great little zone. So Cooper has not done anything yet. Last week was a snow game, though. But he was on the field plenty. And I just think the breakout has to be coming for Cooper. So, and when he breaks out, he's absolutely worth more like a $7,500 player, not a $5,700. So will it happen? I don't know. But I like taking a shot on it at that price. Now we have 7,400 left for our last spot, but I do want to talk through the rest of these. Plenty of other solid play here. Rome Odunze, Elijah Moore. Rome Odunze, he's getting plenty of targets, and there's lots of air yards. There's not catching a lot of them, but if he starts to connect with Caleb, look out, right? Elijah Moore, this is a guy who's been getting 14 targets, just double-digit targets frequently, 9, 8, 14. Those are crazy numbers for a player that's cheap. And this week, Joey Porter will be on Jerry Jeudy. They all watched the tape from last week, so that should open things up much more for Moore. Core Moore. No, not Core. That's it for relevant wide receiver talent. Let's see here. Who can we get in here with the last spot? I mean, Devontae Adams is okay. We can get to Ladd. I was hoping to get up to Evans, but whoa, we were really far off. So again, what we pulled off here, I think, is pretty impressive. And we were able to build a lineup with Saquon Barkley that didn't that didn't completely have to punt away any of the individual spots. Where do we go? The last spot, I'm really not liking this. So let's see here. I might actually get a more middling approach. Devontae Adams, I just don't like it. I don't like that. Devontae Smith, not going to play. Debo's terrible. I really want to play Ladd McConkey here. If I knew he was going to be playing, he's just so much better than every other pass catcher, and they have no one else on the team. So I think we can go with McConkey here, leave $400 over for an upgrade. Can probably upgrade, I don't know. Is there an upgrade from Bucky? Can 400 get us somebody better? I doubt it. No, just Walker. Again, I'd want to get up to Kamara for an improvement. So that didn't really do anything. Let's see. Off of Amari Cooper here, who's the sketchiest of our wide receiver. I mean, yeah, you know what? I will switch that out. And while I like him, what I also like is this little back and forth that we can get going here between Hopkins and McConkey as part of this late game. So, you're never upset to have some pieces going on that last game of the slate. You like that. You like that on FanDuel with the Sunday night game. So yeah, let's close it out there. Sam Darnold stacked with TJ Hawkinson. We've got Saquon Barkley in the nut matchup. Isaac Guerrero in the cheat code free square spot. A wide receiver, DJ Moore, number one guy. Then we have the back and forth with Hopkins and McConkey. Finally, Bucky Irving and Jaguars defense for the win. That's going to do it for NFL Week 14, your FanDuel first look. I appreciate your likes, your subscribes, your notifications, and just that you're here watching. Let me know that you enjoy the FanDuel content. Who's your favorite WR QB stack to start them off? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys later in the week here. Helmets up, everyone.